caught you off guard there, Benno, because I've just started it without you even looking at the screen. So we're here in Leamington. I'm here again. Clearly, Manchester's not satisfying me enough on the weekends, so I'm back in Leamington this weekend. Club Championship, episode number 31. Ben's here.
It's an odd number now.
I know, yeah, it's odd number. No guests, but maybe we'll get a guest for episode 40. Jay Gould or something like that. But yeah, back again. Lots of good feedback on the last podcast. I think people seem to enjoy the fact that we got John on there. And yeah, back stronger. Sunny day. The last few days of summer in England, isn't it?
Cold though.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. I've got jumpers this weekend. Got a lot of them. What have you done this week?
I have. What have I done this week? Blimey. Bit of PT, bit of work, bit of looking after the dog. It's been a bit of a kind of a bit part week for me. So
Really?
Start.
You're just working tomorrow and then not working on Sunday, is that right?
Got the club champs tomorrow, so that'll be marking all that, and then off Sunday. Won't be able to see you lift your trophy.
Mate, you'd blink and you'd miss it. You'll see it on Insta, I'm sure. That'll be streamed, guys. That'll be streamed, so I'm sure you'll see some links to it on Leamington Tennis Court Club on YouTube. But yeah, no, we've got some tournament matches. How exciting! And yeah, other real tennis stuff's going on. Saw some good stuff on Instagram from Wellington. Some juniors hitting railroads. Great to see. Great to see everyone hitting. And I don't think readers are going to be affected by the new restrictions, which is awesome.
Yeah, that could be annoying, going back into that. So
Mate, I said to my dad, no way can gyms and readers shut because I'll just lose my mind. That's not healthy.
Well, it's what is it? It's like indoor team sports or something.
Yeah.
So readers is fine.
So National League's perfect.
I don't really get how. What does that mean for gyms?
Can stay open.
Because it's not a team sport.
And also, they've got the rules in place, don't they? So gyms are actually safe.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. This is my big issue with it. It's about how you classify it. Right. So, a team sport, let's say like a five-a-side football match, right?
Yeah.
However you classify it, on an indoor sports hall five-a-side pitch, you got 10 bodies there.
Yeah.
Fact, right? If you've got the same, in terms of ratio, if you've got the same number of people relative to the size in a gym, what's the difference?
No, but I think in the gym the argument is that everyone's got 3 meters by 3 meters off space by how they've spaced out the equipment. So technically it's safe.
Yeah, which doesn't happen though.
Oh no.
So like my gym, they've done a good job of putting tape out, and all of the all the machines are in between 2 bits of tape, and so they've separated it all out, and then you've got this square box on the floor that's taped that you can train in or whatever. But the next box from that is only a metre away.
I've been given a restraining order for getting too close to people as well. It's not good.
and also when you're walking around to pick up free weights or something like that, it doesn't work. I'm not saying it's bad. Obviously I want gyms to stay open.
Yeah, but with the amount of sanitisation opportunities in gyms and the amount of cleaning they are doing, I think they're safer than a lot of places.
We'll just put a sanitizer on the five-a-side pitch then.
Yeah, sanitize every goal. Next goal, sanitize.
All I'm saying is, it just depends how you classify it. So if I turned around to my chairman and said, I want to do a group coaching session next weekend, he'd go, absolutely not. Just fair enough.
Surely you could do a group of less than 6.
Well, legally, yes, but the Leamington policy is no. But if I turned around and said, I want to do a group coaching session with 3 people, or 4 people, or 3 people, you'd go, no, which is absolutely fair enough. If I said, right, 3 people are coming in next week to play doubles, and I'm going to join in and be the 4th, that would be fine. Same number of bodies on court, it's just how you classify it.
Yeah, it is true, actually, yeah, you're not wrong there.
Not allowed to do a group coaching, but I'm allowed to play doubles. And that's not a Leamington criticism, it's just I say, it's how you classify it. You can't do indoor team sports, because you can't have 10 people within close proximity to each other that are sweating, but you can go to a gym.
Mate, at Manchester you can do 5-a-side on the real tennis court. They don't care. It's pretty normal.
And not clean after.
Yeah, and not clean after, yeah. Just use each other's rackets. But yeah, it's a weird one. Hopefully readers won't be affected. I just can't see it being affected, to be fair. I just can't see it happening. Especially with Leamington, I think the worst it could get, again, not a criticism of Leamington, would be like every club was like Leamington, like 2 people in the building at once, like no messing around.
I mean, if we were to go back into another lockdown, I reckon a lot of real tennis clubs would be like on the cusp of death by the time
Seriously?
you came out. Yeah,
Wow.
you can't have this massive freestanding building that costs you an arm and a leg to keep going with no money coming in.
It's tough, that.
Like, this is like a certain amount of time before you just go, can't do it.
Yeah, knock it down.
You just can't do it.
Yeah, these things
Fingers
happen.
crossed then.
Go into administration, point deduction.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't work like that.
Start the National League -5.
Yeah. Jesus, it's a tough match actually. Yeah, we're out of the relegation zone. Right, well, no, obviously there's some new rules, but I mean it doesn't affect our great sport. And yeah, we've got tournament play. We've got this British Invitation tournament, which we didn't discuss last week, which will be good. Which me and Ben are playing
Both in that, yeah.
in it. That'll be streamed.
Potential semi-final meeting.
I'd love that so much.
Will it be streamed?
The Queens?
Yeah.
Actually, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you mentioned the Queen's factor. And
I just thought,
probably not.
yeah, come on, it's a tournament. They'll stream it. It's like, they might not.
You might just get Ben Ronaldson out there doing like a Facebook Live on his phone or
On
something.
his phone, he probably doesn't even have Facebook. He's probably hacked YouTube. He's probably got a channel. We'll see. That's going to be the next one in November. Actually, National League 13th of November for me and Daz. That'll be the first one.
Who have you got?
It's at Manchester. I don't know.
Doesn't matter, does it?
They can turn up and I'll win.
Turn up, win, go home. Cheers.
These things happen.
Don't even need a shower.
Yeah, you can at Manchester. But yeah, no, that'll be good. But today, after the massive high of John Lumley last week, we're back down to earth, back to the normal format, and we're going to be. And I just sort of said to Ben, like, I quite like forcing. Can we talk about forcing? And he was like, whoa, wait, 1 second. We can make this into a sensible discussion. Isn't that right?
I mean, yeah, I think it would be pretty rich if we wanted to like do a full podcast on like forcing. We should probably like get someone who can actually force on to talk about it.
Yeah, innit?
Which is why I like the fact that you use the word like I like forcing. Can we talk about it?
Yeah, I said I chose my words very carefully there. I like doing it, but it doesn't mean I'm very good.
Well, as our like avid Instagram followers will know, like Levi Gale came up to Leamington last week, had like a lesson with me on the Friday, and then had a game with you on the Saturday, and he just kind of like asked me a couple of questions on the Friday, which kind of led us to like this.
Oh yeah, good point actually. Yeah,
topic, because like the game seemed, like we always kind of talk about past and present, even though we were never in the past, but it was always all about like getting chases. Chopping the ball into corners and stuff like that. And now it's obviously a bit more like physically dynamic. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is like
good for the viewer.
You reckon?
Yeah, seeing people throw themselves around, mega.
Yeah, but I mean like as in when I say physically dynamic, I mean like more forcing and target hitting, which means there's potentially less rallies.
I disagree with like, oh yeah, I want to watch rallies. Like, mate, I just want to watch people nail grills. That's so skillful.
Yeah. So it's just one of those like, like when you're at the hazard end, there is a genuine question now. Like when you've got an opportunity, because forcing is like more like a bigger part of the game. There is that like that debate now that kind of says like, do you just chip everything into the corners and take galleries all the time to get chases, or is it worth trying to take points when they're there and stuff like that? And I basically had a chat with Levi about it last week, because he was asking me about it. And I just think it makes like an interesting discussion point, because it's obviously all personal preference. But like, back in the day, I would have assumed that like the only time a force was really on the agenda was if you had like a short chase to beat, right?
Yep.
Whereas now, you look at
hitting a force to beat like second gallery and stuff.
Yeah. Or just forcing in the rally to try and win a point, rather than
life's too short, isn't it?
Rather than trying to get chases and stuff like that. So, you wanted to talk specifically about forcing.
Yeah, just because I think a lot of people don't take it on, and like, there's no harm in missing a force because at least you've gone for a point. Like, I know the potential penalty for missing a force is pretty dire. Like, the ball goes out, you give your opponent an absolute shocker, an easy ball. Or you miss low and again they can get it back, or even they volley it out and you're in trouble. again, those are extreme cases, but like the rewards for a force, like at the end of the day, we play real tennis to win points, to win matches, and a force can win you points. And yeah, when I'm playing well, I find I actually go for a force more and think, yeah, come on, this is your point, take it, rather than thinking, oh no, I might miss, because the second you think that, you will miss.
The funny thing you just mentioned there is you just reeled off like a list of bad things that can happen, and there's only one good thing that can happen.
Yeah, but that good thing's so good,
Yeah,
mate.
no, I'm only like.
No, but I think that's why.
Like engaging
That's why.
in the thingy.
That's
like
why a lot of people don't force, because they're like, oh god, don't want to like hit the top of the tape or don't want to hit the roof.
All
like
of the bad things that can happen,
Yeah.
and ultimately there is only one good thing that can happen, is actually you can win the point.
yeah,
But it depends, like.
Then all those bad things linked to one. I think.
Well, if you look at like the obvious list of cons there, and there's only one pro, which is win the point. There are like kind of psychological pros that go with it, like intent and all that kind of stuff. If you take the same ball and chip it in the corner, your risk effectively of losing the point outright is gone, because you can't. I mean,
You can.
If you're trying to chip the ball in the corner and you chip it out of play, then this podcast is not aimed at you anyway.
yeah.
Anyway,
PSA TV is for you.
So you do lose that risk of you lose that risk of outright losing the point, and you only lose the option to win the point outright. Like that only diminishes a little bit because you can still force a racket error. So, like in theory, all things point towards like don't hit the force. But then this is like kind of what I was talking to Levi about the other day, because he was saying like. Well, I'm not going to air his flaws to everybody, but he was kind of saying, like, I'm trying to get to the service end. That's what I'm trying to do. He's like, would you ever, like, what would you do? And I said, it depends on the situation. And he was like, well, and you could see kind of the cogs were turning. He's like, okay, well, why does the situation matter? And I was like, well, if I'm at the hazard end and I'm 40 love up and I've got a meat pie off the back wall, I'm happy to try and win the game there and then. And he was like, oh, so you wouldn't think to like get to the service end and win the game from there? I'm like, well, no, because there's no guarantee of that. I've got an opportunity to try and take the game right now. I'm going to take it. If I'm 40-30 down, let's say, and I've got that same ball, you might, and I'm not saying I would, but you might then kind of go, right, I'll look to chase it, because the obvious risk if I get this wrong is I lose the game entirely. You're not just losing a point at that point. You're
and just sit at the hazard end.
And you're still at the hazard end. And it would be for me like the same as if I was 40 love down and I had that opportunity, I'd just try and take the force.
Yeah.
I'm at the wrong end and I'm 40 love down.
Doesn't
like
matter.
Statistics are against me anyway.
Yeah.
May as well try and pull it back somehow. But so it is quite interesting. I think like a big part of it is like the state of play, and also again, not just necessarily within that like games. My point to Levi was, you're there to try and win a match. In order to win a match, you've got to win sets. In order to win sets, you've got to win games. So don't worry about each individual point. Like if you look at like, I'm going to take Cam as an example. I could like if I went and played Cam tomorrow, and lost 2-2-2, be a good result for me.
Well played.
But you could look at the stats afterwards, and it's not like he's winning 200 points and I'm winning 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of points in there, but it's not about points. Like, Cam will concede. You can get to 30 and deuce with Cam in like every game, but you don't win the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't matter how many points you're winning or losing. It's just all about getting that game count up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, we're in a results business, and you don't get any prizes for playing a great game and getting to 30.
Do you think Cam gives like a crap if he wins a set 6-1 and all 7 games went to deuce?
No one would care.
Literally couldn't care less.
You might get the odd chat from someone being like, "Oh, I just couldn't win a deuce today." I'm like, "I'm not bothered, mate. I've already stopped."
Well, you get it from members all the time. He's like, "Oh, I lost 6-1. We had 640 alls." I'm like, all right, so you were 6 points away from winning the set 6-1, but you've lost it. Like,
yeah.
I'll tell you what's going into the system: 6-1 loss. That's what's going into like your handicap.
As well, it's like, well, next time you play, you'll probably get a bit like luckier or play better, and you'll win. So it's
exactly.
It doesn't matter.
So anyway, like with this force, it's not it's not necessarily as it's not. I don't think it's as black and white as it used to be, where it was kind of generally brought out to try and beat short chases. Like it does seem to be part of the game now, and some people kind of favour that over like trying to get chases and stuff like that. And the beauty about forcing, as you know, is there's so many different varieties.
Yeah, there are. There actually are loads of different varieties of forcing. You got your down the line. We're talking it for a right-hander here, but I guess it's the same. You got down the line over the high part of the net. Got a straight force, don't you? I don't know why you'd really hit that.
Or just body line.
Yeah, body straight.
Just yeah.
Rob Fay told me that actually. He said once I had a lesson with him, and he was like, early on in the game, if you get the chance, just whack it straight at someone, because then they won't give you that ball again. And I was like, yeah, mate, it relies on me whacking it straight. So they'll probably keep hitting at me. You've got a cross-court force, which bit risky. That bit risky. Can go wrong.
All right, well let's go into it.
And then you got your main wall.
So you've got the down the line force.
Yeah.
Pros.
Pretty hard to defend at times if you don't anticipate that.
Yeah, you generally
it's on your backhand.
Looking for it probably a bit less.
Yeah, you are.
Or rather, if you've got three forces, like you say.
Yeah.
If you let's say you've got those three or four, if you want the body line one.
Yeah.
You've got the one that's coming straight at you, and then you've got two to the right of you and one to the left.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, if you can't pick what's coming, you're probably going to cover the one to the right, right?
Oh, always, mate, always.
Two, you can cover two over there instead of one. So it's difficult for that reason. An obvious con to the person hitting it is the net. You know, you're hitting the ball through the smallest available window to get that ball into the dead on, because the net's like a lot higher.
So you got net and roof there.
Net and roof are a more likely outcome than if you were to go cross court, say.
Yeah.
So that one's always a bit of a 50-50, and that's where it's always like it's all personal preference.
I think you've got to do that ball on like a railroad or a ball that's got pace on it anyway, because if you try and generate too much pace yourself, you'll just like hit it on the roof, I find.
Yeah, but you can't have that ball. You can't go for that one if the ball's too low. Like if someone hits the back wall quite low, the net is even higher for you now. And to get that ball up and over and down into the dead on is difficult. Or you just don't hit it that hard, in which case it then becomes like defendable. But some people, yourself included, will just hit that one all day long. Just be like,
Not all day long. If I get the right ball, I'll hit that a lot.
Yeah, but as in, so I would say like
I hit it more than most people, I reckon.
Up until a year ago, that was your favourite. That was your default force.
Yeah, and then I realised it's just a bit rubbish.
Well, no, because like you're accurate with it. Like I'm not as accurate with that one, so it's not one that I bring in as much. Because I'm just like, if someone says right, it's 5-all deuce, and you've got this ball that's a force, that wouldn't be the one I would take on.
I used to do it all the time.
Yeah, that wouldn't be mine.
All the time, mate. All the time. Weird.
So then, all right, cross court to the forehand corner.
I think that's the ball you can hit the hardest on a force. You can absolutely whack that. You can, because you wrap all the way around it. Like if you catch it right, that ball will go quick.
So obvious pro, like the court is a bit longer at that point.
Yeah.
Because you're going across.
I think the rewards if you miss low, the rewards like a chase maybe.
Pretty much guaranteed chase. Nets at the lowest. Balls coming across the opponent. So even if
harder for them to direct that ball.
Yeah, it pretty much always goes into the main wall and then kind of back towards the middle.
Yeah.
Obvious con. Which is a massive con.
Huge.
If that thing hits the penthouse, it's out every time. 100% out.
100%.
Every single time.
I do that quite often. I'll take it on against Daz in Manchester, and I see it goes high, and I'm just like, that's out. I don't even want to look at this ball anymore.
Literally, as soon as you make contact with it, you just turn around. You're like, that is just out.
Yeah.
Penthouse back wall. Out.
There are some courts where it's like a springy penthouse, and there's no better sight actually when you're at the service end than someone doing that and just looking at the ball going out. You're like, oh, that's so nice.
Well, because there's certain things, right? If you're defending a force, and you're kind of like you can see it's about to come, so like you're ready, you're prepped for something. If you then as soon as that ball leaves their racket, you will have an inkling immediately as to whether you think it's in or not in.
Yeah.
And obviously, if it's in, you're going to try and defend it. And if it's not in, it might be because it's hitting the back wall or something. And you might kind of have that brief sigh of relief. You're like, I can't run after it because they've smoked it. But I know it's not in.
Mm.
There's no better feeling then when someone like hits that cross-court force at you, the moment it leaves their racket, you go, that's not in and it's up, so I can just turn around.
Yeah.
Like, because I've just now won the point.
Yeah.
Like, I've now won the point by feeding them a meat pie.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I like that one. I like that force.
Yeah, you're good at it. You play it well. You like rotate well.
Find that one quite
low and in the dead on. You go hit good nicks and hit good dead ons on that one.
Well, the key with that one is obviously just don't hit it up.
Yeah, it's a good way.
Just do not hit that ball up.
Yeah, no, it's very valid.
Low is much better in that situation.
Mate, it's a great shot.
And then, but which is bizarre because people go, well, obviously low is better than up.
Easier said than done.
But also now let's move on to the main wall.
Yeah.
If you hit that ball low and it's main wall back wall,
it's a grill, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather hit that up.
Mate, at Queen's, that main wall back wall, I just can't miss the grill, and that's rare. I actually, that ball there, I just don't know. Queen's and Middlesex, I've never hit more grills just off main wall back walls, like missed main walls. The ball just travels in. It like keeps going. You just touch it.
And if you hit that ball up, at least you've got time to get back into the middle, and like they've got a ball.
Also, they're nowhere near. They're nowhere near you. Like they're in the service corner, returning serve, and you can just put it straight.
It's coming off the side penthouse, so there's no forward motion and stuff.
If you go straight, you hit main wall timber. They're disorientated. It's a bad ball to hit if you read it.
So the obvious con to hitting a main wall, excuse me.
It's pretty hard to get it in.
Yeah, it's just
the hardest one to get in.
The ball is hitting a surface, isn't it? So there's an extra factor. How much is it going to bounce? How much is it going to like slow down?
I reckon more main walls. And I'd like to see the stats on this. Of main wall missed, I reckon more go on the roof than go main wall back wall.
Probably depends who it is. But if you just blanket,
I reckon more go on the. From when I watch, I reckon it's more roof.
Is that like top level stuff?
Anything. But yeah, go on. We'll say top level.
No, because I reckon if that is the case, my first inkling as to like why that might be the case is because people are trying to hit it. I know that sounds stupid. They're not taking it on with a potential miss in mind.
Yeah.
So they're not playing for the low half. They're thinking, I need to get this ball up and over the net, so I'm trying to get this ball in. So you're more likely to kind of pull it up than roll over it and get it down. But it depends who you are. I mean, I'm quite good. I've got a very good main wall floor back wall force. So something I've managed to add to my repertoire through the years of being crap at hitting that main wall force.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, the difficulty, and that's where something like, so if you're hitting a direct force down the line or cross court or straight down the middle or whatever, it doesn't matter what court you're on, because air is air, right? As soon as you bring that main wall into play, something makes a big difference where you are.
Right, I propose a game of good courts for a main wall. Petworth.
Well, that's just the best, so that's easy.
Yeah, come on, choose one.
Probably not Radley then. Queens.
Middlesex University.
Very good. Paris.
Mate, I nailed that.
What? Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Yeah, exactly.
Just because it's so lively off the wall.
Yeah, innit? You just don't have to do anything. Where else? Cambridge is not the worst.
As soon as someone says a bad one, they're out. Lords.
You're lucky as well because people who haven't been to Lords, that main wall kicks loads.
It's a slippery one.
Yeah, I know.
It slides in.
It's a good court.
So you can be really aggressive with your angle.
Wellington. Loads seems to go in at Wellington.
Well, I don't know who you're playing, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was watching Rob.
Seacourt.
I'm done, mate. Is Seacourt even good?
Yeah, because the wall's slippery.
It's quick, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Seacourt is good. Yeah, no, Seacourt is good.
I reckon Seacourt is probably. I reckon because like this, and this is what's so good about the game. You could walk onto a court and go, God, I play really well here. And I might go, oh, I just don't play well on this court. Or I like the way this plays, or whatever it is. It's all different. That's what's so good. I hit so many main walls at Seacourt.
Yeah.
Like me personally, like it must be up there in my top 3 like stats.
It's got quite a refreshing dead on as well. I know we've talked about Seacourt before, but like
I always feel like the ball's going to go through the net.
Yeah, it just goes like.
It sounds like it's like.
Oh God, that went in.
It sounds like you're breaking.
Yeah, because the net's like really stiff. It's like, oh wow.
So you proposed a game of and you lost that one horrifically.
Yeah, at least I proposed the game, right? Okay. Yeah, so we've talked about those forces. Yeah, it's one of them.
So in terms of like when to take them on, because this is like an interesting like topic, and this is what I was talking to like Levi about. You know, and we kind of touched on it earlier. It's not. It's coming into the game more and more, so it's not necessarily like just on short chases. It's obviously part of the game, like in everyday like rallies and points. So, like, does the state of play in a game or a match or a set or whatever, does that affect if you choose a force or a cut shot?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Well, that's good.
does.
Because because like for me, in fact, I've just remembered this story,
Yeah,
and it's
stories
another
time.
it's another story of me like snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. I played Bryn in the British Open at Queen's a few years ago, and I think it was 5-all in
20. It was in 2016. No,
it was 5-all in one of the sets.
2016. Yeah, I remember being in the library
I
watching
think,
it.
in fact, I think the score was
Wasn't it
something
4-4
like,
4 or something? He
no, I
won.
think Bryn won the first two 5 and 5. Then I won like 6-3, and then he won like 4 or 5 in the fourth or something. Another heartbreaker for me at Queen's. And I remember it was like 5-all in the second or something like that. And Bryn served me three serves which hit the back wall like waist high. And I took on 3 main walls and hit them all up. And I lost that set.
I know what you're going to say, but like, why didn't you just think after the second one, I might just not hit a main wall there?
That's exactly what somebody said to me after the game. They were like, "Why did you keep taking it on?"
No, and I know you're going to have an answer for this, but like, if I was in your head, if I'd missed 2, I'd have been like, don't do that, mate. Just leave it in the locker. Like, come on, let's get a chase or something. You clearly, like, because then it's in your head, isn't it? Anyway,
Well, do you know what then? But so my argument to that was the ball was there to be hit. Like in that situation, when the ball is in that position, that's what I'm going to hit. So I don't think the decision was poor. The execution was poor.
No, but obviously you can think sometimes the shot, the ball's there for it, but also in your own mind you're not as confident, and then that will be playing on your mind. And whether or not you think you're going to get it in, deep down there's something inside you which is thinking, oh no, I better not miss. Like,
right. So all of that whole 10 seconds of rambling you've just given me there is all negative, non-top player mentality.
Yeah, great, but like,
What if I miss?
You could have hit a boast
my
and got in.
confidence is down. Well, I could have hit a boast and hit some shit and just gone, yeah, all right. The fact is, I hit them up and I lost the set, right?
Shame that.
But I said to somebody, they were like, "Oh, why did you keep taking it on?" I was like, "Because it was there. Like, it was the execution that was poor, not the decision-making process."
If you're all right with that, that's fine.
And if you've missed 2 and then the third one presents itself and you chip it in the corner, you're just going back on like everything you kind of like. I don't know, but like. It's just such a negative move to do that, which is why I kind of not persisted with it. It wasn't like I started trying to hit main walls just to try and get one in. I was like, here it is again. This is another opportunity.
It just sounded like you were persisting with it just to like spite yourself.
Which isn't
like,
the case. They were all in the same spot. So that conversation with, I can't remember who it was, but that conversation would not have taken place if I'd hit them all in.
We wouldn't be here today.
No. So it wasn't the state of play that provoked the conversation. It was just the result that provoked the conversation. And my answer was like, it's there. That's I thought was the right shot to play, so I'm going to play it. I don't care if I've missed 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You've got to back yourself that you've practiced it enough.
Of course.
And you're going to hit it.
No, yeah, exactly.
If somebody said to me now, like, right, I'm going to give you those 3 balls again, see if you can, and like take it seriously and have a go at them, the chances of me hitting 3 in a row on the penthouse again are quite slim.
You might hit a main wall, back wall.
Might hit a main wall, back wall. Might get a main wall racket error. Might hit 3 in. Might lose all 3 points, but in a different way or whatever. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't like the idea of like, oh yeah, you could have backed away and thought about doing something else. It's just like, how negative is that? Got to believe you're going to hit it, right? The shot's there. The shot's there.
Fair. Yeah, you got to believe.
If you've been like, if you miss a couple of like cut volleys, you don't suddenly start thinking, oh God, maybe I shouldn't do this. You turn around and go, I've hit cut volleys.
I fucking do.
Why?
Mate, leave it in the locker and do it. Do something else. It's just not your day.
But then they've beaten you already then.
Well, no, because maybe something else would be better than a cut volley.
What, chipping it in the corner?
Like a force or something, I don't know. Leave it to the back wall and hit a force, I don't know. Like,
I just think
there are other positive shots.
Yeah, there are. I just think if you've got that, if you have practiced that shot a million times, you back yourself to hit it. Even if you miss it, you still back yourself to. All right. In fact, what I want to do is I want you to have this same conversation with Tim Chisholm.
He's probably never missed 3 in a row. Don't know what you're on about, mate. Never happened to me.
He would be like, I would just be like, so Tim, what if I gave you this ball? And he'd be like, it's a force. I'm like, all right. What if I gave you this? You missed it, and then I gave you that again. He'd be like, it's a force.
Yeah.
All right. What if I gave it to you again and it's 5-all? It's a force. Like that, his answer would never change because he's like, I back myself to hit it.
Yeah.
I back myself to hit it.
He's good though, to be fair. But yeah.
Clearly better than me.
Well,
when it comes to that,
perhaps, but no. Well, interesting about the force, isn't it? I guess. I think.
Well, the advantage to it is, like we've said, like you're trying to win sets and therefore games, and you need points to win games. And I just think that, like, I'm not exactly going to change the world with this comment, but the days of like getting that easy ball and chipping it in the corner and stuff to try and get chases and win from the service end, it just doesn't. Like, if people can try and win a point now, they go for it.
Yeah, it's positive. It's the modern world. People don't want to wait.
Try and win the point. Yeah, because Levi said to me, like, wouldn't you ever think about hitting that ball into a gallery and like guaranteeing the serve? And I was like, well, the thing is, you guarantee the serve, but you're now defending like last or second. Pretty easy for your opponent to beat, and also the psychological like message that you're sending out to your opponent is like, I'm going to take the easy option every time. I'm not gonna try and win. I'm gonna take the easy option and just hope that you can't beat last or second.
Yeah.
How many forces do you think someone like Rob hits into the net or on the penthouse in a match?
Loads.
Exactly.
People miss forces all the time.
Do you think he gives a shit?
No.
He's like, I'm worried about the ones that go in, mate. Like, as long as there's more going in, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, again, you can't be worried about missing, really. It just happens. But, like...
Well, it's part of the risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Risk and reward.
Very true.
Like, otherwise you'd never take on, like, a gorilla or anything, would you? You've got to be... I remember when I got to Hampton Court and I was working with Chris Ronaldson, and I was still very kind of, like, green at the time, and he kind of said, it's not about the ones that go in, it's about the ones that miss, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening to the ones that miss?
Yeah, what is happening? Yeah, you got to think that. Like, are they going to put you away, or are they going to waste a chance?
Like, so a really good example of that is like if you're going for like winning gallery, let's say, right? If you're trying to be really careful with it, or let's say you've got 2 options with a winning gallery. You hit it or you miss it. If you miss, he was like kind of saying like if you get the height right, but you miss to the right and you miss deep, you're giving them complete crap.
Yeah.
Right, and they're going to hurt you. If you miss and it's underneath, they're going to get it back, but it's less of a like easy option for them. So he's like, in that situation, the ones that go in are irrelevant. Doesn't matter if it brushes past like Hazard second or hits the like back wall and just makes it in or whatever, or smashes like straight through the bell. They're all in. They're all your point.
Yeah.
What about the ones that miss? And it's the same thing with something like a grill and something like a force. Yeah. Like something I say to my members all the time when they're trying to hit forehands down the line towards the grill. Like everyone's trying to play like this nice shot like an inch above the net, and I'm like, it's impossible for you to hit the grill with that shot.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but like I shouldn't be going for the grill because of the penthouse and stuff. And I was like, I'd rather hit the penthouse than the net.
100%.
So, like, if they're both missing, I'd rather miss and be in the point.
It's very true. It's very true. You do see a lot of members hit like low stuff under the grill. It is a bit weird. I mean, I don't know why you bother, but
just floor back wall, and then somewhere like here where it bounces up, you just kill him in the back end corner. Thanks very much.
Well, yeah, it is a bit weird.
That's why I've become so good at sprinting from the forehand corner to the backhand corner, because I've never hit the grill, and then I just charge to the backhand. That's probably why my backhand's so good.
Yeah. Always facing them.
It's just always under pressure, so I've just got good at it.
Oh my god. But no, right, well, before we move on to Hatfield, which we didn't talk about last week, let us know what you think about the force. Do you like forcing? Are you good at forcing? And yeah, what are your opinions on like proper taking it on? Do you always back yourself to nail it? Be honest, be truthful, because like, I mean, you can say behind an Instagram screen that, yeah, you back yourself, but do you really? And yeah, like, and I don't know, what sort of parts of the force do you find hard? Let us know.
Well, I'd be interested to hear from the person who contacted us on Instagram and said that they prefer being at the Hazard end because they can dictate all the play from there. They've got a variety of forces.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 8 forces. He's going to get his green card because he's invented 4.
I mean, that is incredible. Like, I'm thinking, wow, where are these coming from? So I'm interested to hear about them.
The Bando Force, called a coup de cabas. Right. Well, though that was interesting. To be fair, good insight, Benno. By the way, just a question before we move to Hatfield. Have you got any coffee in this house?
No. Yeah, I'll make you a coffee.
I 100% need a coffee before I go on court. I forgot to buy one before. Anyway,
Right.
my eyes are like going weird.
Don't quite know how I'm going to make one and be close to the microphone, but
No, we'll do it after this. Anyway, we're on to Hatfield. Hatfield House in Hertfordshire.
Hatford House in Hertfordshire.
You used to work there, Ben.
Mate, loved it.
How long did you work there for? 5 years?
No.
Until 2013?
No, 2014. God, when did I start there? I would have started there straight after my eliminator in 2012. So I would have done just over 2 years there.
Oh wow!
Just
I
over
thought
2
it
years.
was longer than that.
Do you know what? Like, it was just one of those. It's one of those. It's one of those situations in life where it's like a shame that the opportunity that presented itself to me happened at that particular time, because I loved working there.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Would you have stayed?
Well, if I didn't have an opportunity to like become a head pro, then yeah.
That is true. Career progression in real tennis.
Well, exactly. Like, I would have quite happily done another couple of years there and then been given the opportunity, but you don't pick your opportunities, do you? Got presented with a head pro opportunity. And
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah,
if you turn down head pro chances forever, like people will be like, they'll be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was just like an unfortunate timing. I'll say unfortunate. Like, well, I'm obviously happy with like my current job, but I would have quite happily stayed there for longer.
Yeah, got you.
Would have quite happily stayed there for longer.
Where did you live when you were working at Hatfield?
St Albans.
Yeah. Got a few mates who were
Lovely
from
part
there.
of the world. Before we go into the nitty gritty of Hatfield, I think you have to turn around and say, for me, it is the most aesthetically pleasing court in the world.
Looks cool, doesn't it?
Don't you think?
Yeah, pink roof.
Pink penthouse, which is not necessarily like the main redeeming feature about it, but like the floor is just like really shiny. The numbers and like the like gallery signage, which is like kind of looks like a chess piece.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
They're just like big and curvy. You just walk on there and you just go, "This is just a nice looking court."
Yeah.
It's just a nice.
It's quite nice actually. I've only been there once to play the 35 to 39 in 2012. So that's 8 years ago. Nearly like 8 years ago to the day.
Did you win it?
Oh, any more silly questions? So that was when I was how old would I have been? 16? 16? Yeah, 16. So I was young then. But yeah, no, I've only been there once. I thought it was nice though.
Yeah, do you know what? I can't actually remember when it opened, which is a bit worrying, isn't it?
Hatfield. Mate.
It's pretty cool. Well, it's obviously like it's a family estate that is that it was like it's going to be Victorian era because it was that kind of big real tennis boom in the UK where like families would just have a court in their back garden basically.
Oh yeah, true.
And then obviously it's kind of turned into a like a club, like affiliated to the estate and stuff like that. Pretty small and basic as facilities go.
Yeah, just a club, really. It's just a club.
But again, like if it was your private court in the back garden, you wouldn't really need a reason to have amazing stuff there, would you? Because you'd be in your back garden, you just go back inside for a shower.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a bit like today, a bit like now. Leamington's just turned into Hatfield, really.
Less facilities. So yeah, you go in. You've got a nice little club room on the left. Members are great there. Very good little like social thing, like the tournaments and stuff. The good thing about the club being quite small is that obviously there's nowhere for people to kind of get spread out and hide.
Yeah.
So something like...
Why would they try and hide?
Well, as in something like a Queen's, for example, right?
Oh, you can hide, yeah.
Is a fantastic facility, but because it's so spread out, if you've got a load of people there for a tournament, or I've never been there for a members tournament there, you're going to have like some people in the dead on, some are going to be in the cafe, some are in the changing rooms, like some might be outside having a drink, and they're all very spread out. So I would imagine you don't necessarily get that really kind of club feel atmosphere to it, like you would at somewhere like a Leamington or a Manchester, where like it's so much smaller, so everyone's in a much more concentrated area. Not in the immediate future, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hatfield's great for that. I'm trying to find the bloody year. This is a shocker.
Could be anything.
Well, how many times would I have given this chat to people at the start?
Did you used to make up a different year every time?
I must have done. Terrible, isn't it?
1946. No, it might have been 1970.
Do you know what? It's around 18.
Make up a
Well, it's around that area because it's close to. It's not far off Leamington. I know that. God, this is terrible. Someone's gonna have to tell us. Oh, here we go. 1842 for 4 years off Leamington.
That's old, that, you know. 1842. That's a big year for some reason. But yeah, no, it's got pink roof, nice,
shiny
slides
floor.
around.
Not shiny like in a bad way, but it's just such a nice court. What do you remember about it?
Just bouncy.
Not that bouncy.
Rips down.
It does cut down quite a lot. The back wall's quite like dead, so it will hit the back wall and like it won't come out. It doesn't bounce out very far.
It's got quite a good sounding grill.
Yeah,
Big,
wood like
thick.
set back right next to the shower. Like I mean, literally right next to the shower.
Oh, really?
So you're in the shower and you're about literally a foot away from the grill.
I just remember like it comes out quite wide, does it? Like.
So I would say like Hatfield's quite. It's quite neutral. Like the walls are quite. It doesn't hit the wall and like spring away like a Middlesex or something like that, or like a Leamington's like very kind of grippy and bouncy. Hatfield kind of is a bit more dead, so the ball will kind of. It does take cut, but it also kind of gives you the impression it takes more cut than it does. But if you threw a flat ball into a back wall at Leamington and it came out to 3 and 4, it would come out to 2 and 3 at Hatfield.
Whoa.
Let's say. Yeah. So you've got to be like, you're pinned back a little bit more and stuff like that. But it's very fair. Like there's nothing weird about it. Floors fairly kind of neutral. Skid stays quite low. Does cut down quite a bit. Yeah, just a good fair court. Penthouse is high.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it is high. It's like wooden roof, and there's a
Yeah,
weird bit
like
above the timber.
Bando's quite big. So the penthouse is quite high. So the ball's coming down from like a bit. It feels like a bit higher than other courts. Yeah, it's got the netting in the four corners.
Yeah, it's weird that it gets you. It's like
netting in the
when
four
it goes
corners.
out.
Well, it's just so everyone kind of like says about like Leamington, for example. Like as soon as the ball's above the timber, it's out, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of courts have those like top corner bits where, for example, that cross court like main wall force could hit penthouse back wall, and then it would go up, and instead of being out, it would like hit a side wall that's still in play potentially.
Yeah.
Hatfield doesn't have that, so what they've done in the netting is they've put some like metal, like
thing
structure there. So if the ball hits the penthouse and then hits the net inside, that is still in.
Yeah. Well,
but if it hits it directly, it's out.
Right. Here's one for you.
Go on.
Hard. Any good players who come from Hatfield?
God, I don't actually know. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who's like, yeah, Hatfield born and bred.
Neither.
So we're not going to propose a game of
Chris Haley.
Yeah.
Well, Dorsey was good at Hatfield. He was a good player while working
boy,
there.
though,
No, I know, but he was a good player while working there.
Seriously good on that court. Christ.
I reckon, even though he's from Seacourt, he's the best player Hatfield have produced.
Oh, Ben Taylor Matthews.
You've nibbled hard there. No, that wasn't a hard nibble. That was a half nibble. Anyway, yeah, no. Dorsey's good, though. And still
Adam
there.
Phillips, when he worked there.
Tell your story about Adam Phillips, National League. Oh, no,
he had like the football fans up there with him.
So Ben's told me a story. I think this might have been on a previous podcast, but like the way I remember the story, it's like you were playing National League. It's like an evening. Do you remember what evening it was? Friday night? Not quite.
Probably a Thursday.
Thursday club. Fair enough. They were on a 4-day weekend.
Probably a Thursday.
So Adam Phillips is playing, and he's got his ultras.
Well, because he's at Lords at this point, so he's got he obviously would have contacted the boys from years gone by and be like, boys, I'm back in at Hatfield. Get yourself up there.
and the lads they've got taxis up. Obviously, cans in the dead on,
Loved
and
it.
yeah, it's like, oh my god, did you win?
He beat me 4-4, and he was
What
off
doing?
about,
What just hitting everything into the main wall?
he was off about +1, +2 at the time, and he beat me with a missed main wall that I hit.
This is gonna be good.
Standard. Missed main wall, so it was main wall, back penthouse, back wall, side penthouse, and he hit an inside-out backhand like down the line into winning gallery, and literally like the roar, the roar.
To be fair, that's an unbelievable
I was
shot.
just like, fair enough. That's brilliant.
And then he went and hugged the boys in the dead on, and then they all went out. Probably.
Probably had a G&T in the galleries. Fired him up.
That's so good. But yeah, it gets quite dark in it. Quite cold, I can imagine it happening.
Freezing.
Freezing.
Absolutely freezing. Like I remember when me and Dorsey used to hit, and we in the winter we would basically, before we went on court, we would discuss exactly what baskets we were going to do, and then we would just get out there, like finish the basket, collect the balls up, and do it, and then talk about it afterwards, because it would just, you would get so cold in between baskets. That horrible feeling, like you get it at most places, where like you're warm doing the baskets and you're sweating, and then when you stop, ultimately you're just wearing a wet t-shirt with freezing cold air blowing around, so you get cold immediately. Like we've had it in the summer.
Oh mate, like December.
We've had it where after like an hour and a half, where I've just gone, mate, I've got to stop. Because like the first hour's fine, and then I get colder as the hour goes on.
Yeah. Your left hand gets cold, and it's like you just can't move. Like I remember we played like when it was generally like I got in the car at 7 a.m. and I like went out. At 6:45. It's pitch black outside, and you're just like, this is so cold. Like you got to defrost your car, and you're like, mate, I'm playing real tennis in like an hour. Like,
it's not a very fair sport when you consider like the conditions that the people have to play in.
yeah, at least there's no like rain.
No, but imagine like you've got people, and this is every like member of every standard, right? The one thing that is going to be very risky when it comes to like being injured and stuff like that is trying to physically exert yourself when your muscles are like cold and like tight and not stretched out, right?
Yeah.
And yet you're playing in an environment where they can't warm up enough to be like stretchy and elastic. So you're just asking for trouble like all the time.
So maybe some heating at Hatfield then.
Well,
They didn't think of that in 1842.
No, and they should have done.
Yeah, they should. some fires in the dome. But yeah.
Get some air conditioning.
Obviously, yeah, good memories from Hatfield. I know it hosts the Billy Ross Skinner, the mixed doubles.
It does.
That got like featured in the Times back in the day.
Did it?
Yeah, the mixed doubles. It's like people think, oh yeah, it's the mixed doubles like Wimbledon. I'm like, mate, come on. Like,
I wonder if not Hatfield. I wonder if it was advertised in like a national newspaper to try and show the like progressive, equal nature of the sport that
quite
is
possibly,
real tennis, which is hilarious. But
yeah, I mean, it's just some handicap tournament. I mean, like, yeah.
Have you ever played in that?
No, never been asked.
Well, yeah, because they basically get like the best ladies they can, and then just pair them up with like guys of a like they get invited to try and make everybody like as level as possible. It's actually like a good fun weekend.
Yeah.
Spent many hours stood at the net marking that one.
Brutal. Getting hit by like errant volleys.
Yeah, honestly, literally, I remember like Pam Tomlin nearly took me out from worse than the door, like hitting a forehand volley. And just,
won
like,
the chase.
Just laughs about it, and I'm like, you don't know how close I am to like taking that in the temple.
Imagine if you were taller.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so you got good memories of Hatfield, World Championship discussion. We haven't actually really talked about Hatfield because I don't know much about it.
Well, we played. They had the Browning Cup there a couple of times before I worked there.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I remember this. This will tickle you.
Story time.
So I've obviously spent a long time on this podcast talking about main wall forces that I've missed at crucial times. This is a story almost of success. I played the Jedi himself, Jed Parsons.
Great player.
In the Browning Cup there.
Left-hander.
Yeah, years ago. And I was giving him something like, it would have been something like receive half 30, owe half 30 or something. And you're like, great draw. Really happy to be driving up to Hatfield for this. And played the first set and obviously tried to do the right thing, like play handicap and stuff like that. But if you've never seen Jed play, he's very like inside out, gets loads of spin on it, and his words, not mine, he melts the ball around. That's what he does. So he played the first set trying to play like proper handicap tennis, got absolutely smashed like 6-1 or whatever in about 10 minutes. And second set, I was just like, fuck it, I'm not driving all the way up here, just nudge it around and try and out rally him. But he's hacking it around, which is fine because he's got the handicap on his side.
Melting it around.
I'm just gonna play properly. So beginning of the second set, I went out there and I was just like, right, I'm just gonna start ripping these left-handed railroads. Like I'm just gonna start having a crack at the dead on. Like if it's there to be hit, I don't care that it's 15-0, 30 or 30-15. I'm just gonna go for it. I hit something like I won something like 10 out of 12 points, and like 8 of them were main walls or something like that at the beginning of the set, and it was 1 game all. And I was just like, this is why this is a stupid game. This is absolutely ridiculous. I could not have done any better. Well, I could have, but in reality,
12 out of 12.
My stats were like pretty damn good for 12 points.
To win the match.
And I was what? No. I was going to say I don't think I've ever won a Brownie Cup match, but I've made the final twice.
Yeah, there you go. Relax. You're all good.
Once at Manchester.
Yeah.
And once at Hollyport.
There you go. Hatfield, not as good for Brownie Cup, but where would it rank in your World Championship standings?
Top third, easy. Easy.
Pretty middle for me. I can't really remember much, but it's not a bad court. I think I could play quite well.
It's one of those courts where, like, I know it's going to sound a bit silly, but I would be like, oh, if you gave me like a week there, I'd be shit hot. But then if you gave any top player a week there, like they'd all be very good. But
yeah, feel good out there.
Yeah, it's just a nice court. Love it.
Good. Well, that's another one in your top third.
Played right there.
Where are we next time? So we're going from Hatfield to...
Do you know what? I think
Middlesex.
I think we're dangerously on the outskirts of London now. I think it's London.
It's got to be Middlesex next, surely.
Yeah, and we did say that we're not going to make a list of the courts until we think we finished, and then we'll see if we missed any.
Yeah.
So it'll be Middlesex next.
Mate, I think if we clean out London, we've finished.
That's what I mean. Like we may have
because we've done
missed one, but it could be great. If we do, it could be what will be terrible.
We've done 20. I think we've done like 18 courts because we did 10 episodes on the cyborg and then we did courts.
But we've done 30 episodes, 31 episodes.
Yeah, and so
we didn't. Did we do the cyborg right from the start? Probably not. No, it wasn't episode 1.
I think it was. Anyway, I think we've done about 17, 18 courts.
I'll be interested.
We've not done Radley. Anyway, carry on.
Have we not?
Missed out Radley.
Shit.
But yeah, no, we'll be in Middlesex next time. That'll be good. I love that.
We'll finish with Radley.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We'll miss out the Harbour Club. No, it's not open.
Let's do Radley next before we get into London.
Okay.
We'll do Radley next and then get ourselves into London.
And we've done Oxford, haven't we? Yeah, we have done Oxford.
Yeah.
Right, good. Well, we're on court this afternoon. That'll be good. I'm out with Benno. Only an hour. Fuck. It's not great. I should have come a bit earlier, but that would have been a disaster for the dog.
Right.
So an hour with Ben, hour with my dad, then off to Birmingham, and then playing Club Championship semi tomorrow.
5 o'clock.
And then if I win that, I'll drag it out for you, don't worry. Just so you get to watch some stuff. And then if we get through that...
I'm actually working at like 8:30 tomorrow. And I'm marking like club champs like all afternoon. So I'm telling you now, on record, I don't want any niceties like,
mate,
I'll just let my opponent get a few games and give him because you're a good guy.
Well, mate, if the ball's there to hit and I miss main walls, I'm not apologising. I was going for the positive shot.
I want a double bagel so I can get to the gym.
Respect that so much. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
I want to be in the gym by 6:30.
If you'd said so I can get on the beers, I'm like, you can wait. You can do some curls while you're
I want to be in the gym at 6:30, beers at 7:30.
Good. I've not had a beer in like 2 weeks, but nonetheless,
Not had a beer in
hopefully some Instagram content to come over the weekend, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time.